What's up, everybody? This is Jack from Crypto 49er, bringing you my knowledge in cryptocurrency. So today I want to talk about the RSI Bull Bear Strategy for the Gekko trading bot. But before I do, just want to remind you guys that I give away $10 this week on Steemit. I will be asking the question on Wednesday. Alright, back to today's topic, the RSI Bull Bear Strategy. So previously I mentioned that the BBRSI strategy is a really popular strategy for the Gekko trading bot. Well, this one is even more popular by far, I would think, because if you go to the Gekko forum, you have a post from Tommiehansen. He created this strategy called the RSI Bull Bear, and it is right now over 25 pages long on the Gekko forum. He made improvement to the strategy, he answered a lot of questions, and a lot of people were really, really excited by this one simple fact. This strategy is crazy. The backtesting results will shock you. It's literally insane how much gains it can make. So I'm just going to show you some of the gains right now. It's ridiculous. This was a backtest result of August 8, 2015 to November 7, 2017 of USDT to Ethereum trade pair on Poloniex. I know this particular time frame, 2016, 2017, you are going to make a ton of money, especially 2017, right, from Ethereum. So that's why it's like, okay, I mean, what? I think Ethereum went up like 60,000% or something like that, something ridiculous. So, but how much do you think this strategy can make if you were using this strategy on the Gekko trading bot from back then to now? It's crazy. I'm going to show you right now. It's going to be 4.4 million% gain in terms of simulated profit. It is absolutely insane. Literally, the market only went up 17,950%, which is super exciting as is. And this is what get people super excited about trading cryptocurrency or speculating in cryptocurrency, because you have gains like this, 17,000, almost 18,000% gains in a 2-year span. But that's nothing compared to this. This is 4 million, 4 million%. So literally, this, you start off with $100, as it says right here, a little over $100 starting balance. And by the final balance of 2 years, you're making $4.5 million. Obviously, this is a simulated profit. This is not guaranteed results, but this is a ridiculous amount that it beats the market by so extremely much. It's literally insane. And that's just one test. There's a couple more I want to show you. So this is another one here. So this one is, again, the same trade pair, but so this time they modified some parameters. And this is what happened with the same strategy here. It's now making 84 million%. So $100 turned to $84 million. I know this is backtest result. It's probably extremely way too good to be true. So let's just say that it's, something that, first of all, we can't go back in time and buy something like this and be able to make that much money. You can't go back in time and buy Ethereum. If you could, if anyone can, everyone would, right? Just because even you bought at the market value and got this hodl, you would have gotten 17,000%. Making this amount is completely insane. Insanely good, but insanely impossible at this point. So let's look for something more recent. Like in this particular trade here, in this particular backtest here, this is the NEO to USDT trade pair on Binance. And this is much more recent, only 1 month, from January 1st of this year to January 31st, where half the month was great and the other half was horrible because of the Korea flood, if you guys remember what happened back in January. So this is the RSI Bull Bear strategy. There is a slight difference. So these two previous ones uses the RSI Bull Bear ADX, and this one is just simply RSI Bull Bear. Tommiehansen actually added the ADX indicator to his strategy to make it even better. But this is probably an older screenshot. This was a backtest created before he added the ADX indicator. Even without the ADX indicator, this is still a pretty good trade, because let's see. So 1 month, the market went up 86%. You can see it right here. Started off around here, around like 80 something dollars. It went up as high as $190. And then it came back down to, like, by the end of the trade period, the backtesting period, we're about like 140, 150, around there, 143 end price, right? If you just hodl that 1 month, you would have been 86%. But if you use this strategy, you want to make 302%. So this time they use a starting balance of $176. I'm not exactly sure why. It would have been easier if they made 100 or 1,000. So, but anyway, you can see that it tripled the starting balance, more than triple the starting balance. That is a freaking awesome strategy, I have to say. I'm gonna explain to you guys how it works, okay? So the best way for me to understand the strategy is to dive into the code and actually read what it does. And it's really clean code the way he has written it, but it still takes some time to actually read through and understand it. So let me go through that first. So in the init function here, he needs 4 indicators, 2 of the same kind each. So he needs 2 simple moving averages and 2 RSI. And then all these I basically copy from the TLML file right here so that you can see them in here and understand what is needed. So right now he needs a 1,000, the basic default strategy that he set up, the default parameters, needs a 1,000 candle simple moving average, a 50 candle simple moving average. So you have a slow and a fast. So you have a slow moving average and a fast moving average. And you have a bow RSI. So in the bow RSI, you will have settings of the RSI period is 10 candles, the bow RSI high is 80, and the low is 60. So, and then for the bear RSI, you would have a 15 candle time period. Again, you have to understand the RSI in terms of how it works. If you don't, you guys should look at my previous videos, perhaps understand how RSI works. But there's a certain time frame involved in terms of the calculation needed. So if you set a certain amount of days, this is the certain amount of candles, let's say 10, 15, 20. The most common people use is either 14 candles or 10 candles. But anyway, here for the bear RSI, you're using 50 for the high and 20 for the low. And that's all the 4 indicators they needed. And then you go in here, you see there's a couple of different functions. They are the reset trend function, the low high function, which is really just for backtesting and giving more in terms of information about the backtesting period. This low high function is not really needed for live trading. And then you have the check function, which is basically every strategy has that check function. So in the check function, basically it's just something that, again, it gets run through the cycle of the strategy. And here what it's doing is comparing the slow versus the fast. In this case, if the fast moving average is lower than the slow moving average, then it would use the bear RSI because it'll determine that it's in the bear market, and it's going to use the bear settings as a strategy. So it's going to sell when the RSI is greater than 50, and it's going to buy when the RSI is less than 20. It's just that simple. On the bull side of things, if the fast moving average is above the slow moving average, it will sell when RSI is greater than 80, and it will buy when the RSI is less than 60, just because it knows that during bull markets, the RSI is in a much more higher region, and then when it is in a bear market, bear trend, the RSI is in a much lower region. And that's basically all it does. And you have 2 more functions, the long and the short. When it has either one of these 2 trends, it will call these 2 functions, the long function or the short function. And all it really does is just it resets the trend, sets the trend direction, and then give the advice to long. Very simple, very straightforward, and it's very clean. But if you don't understand or you just find it hard to follow when I was explaining it by using the code, let me go ahead and show you how it looks like on the charts. So in here, again, as I mentioned previously, there is 2 moving averages. So you have the orange line, it is the slow moving average, and the blue line is the fast moving average. So in this case, the orange line is 1,000 candles, and the blue is 50 candles. The blue line, right now, as you can see where I'm showing here, is below the orange line. So this is what they consider as the bearish trend. And then when it crosses over above, now that the blue line is above the orange line, this is what they consider as the bullish trend. And then what it does is, during the bearish trend, it'll look for the RSI to be lower. So the RSI, if it's around 20, then that's when it buys, and it will sell around when it is 50. So that's the point. So it will just buy here and sell here, because it knows during a bearish trend, the RSI will not hit 80, or doesn't happen very often. So the fact that it's going to sell at 50, it's going to most likely profit rather than take a loss. And that's why it goes through the same process over and over again. 20, it says here, okay, then it buys it and then sells it here. Even though it went up as high as 70s, it never hit 80, but it went up over 70 during the bear trend. So it does happen, but at least by selling at the 50, it's saving your butt most of the time by getting out before the price fall back down again. When the blue line goes above the orange line, it changes the strategy now. Now what it does is, if the RSI goes below 60, like around here, around 58, we'll say around 58 here, then it will buy and then it will sell around 80. So it actually doesn't sell, it actually holds this, so around 80 right here, then it will sell. So I'm going to repeat the process. It goes down to, it actually, again, even in the bullish trend, it can fall down to as low as 20 somethings. But it doesn't matter. So we'll just buy over here around 60, and then it will hold it until it get back up to 80. In this case, it hasn't done so yet in this hour chart that I'm showing you here. But this is the general idea. It's very simple to understand how it works. So I went through the whole entire thread on the Gekko forum, all 25 pages, and I just want to share with you some of the ideas and things that people ask about. First of all, even on the main page here, Tommie Hansen already mentioned and said it. He tried adding the stop loss, like Q&A section here. He tried adding stop loss to it, and it just doesn't work well. By adding stop loss, it makes this strategy a lot worse. It does not work. And then he had to reiterate it here because a lot of times people just keep on asking him. This is early on again. This is early on. I think this is around page 3. Page 3 of the 25 pages. So many people are asking him to add a stop loss to it because they don't want to take these crazy losses sometimes with this particular strategy. He even added this code here for you guys to add. If you want to use the stop loss function, he has code to add the stop loss function. So if you want to do it, but then again, he did a lot of backtesting and the results were worse, not better. So that's one. The second one is, so more recently, Tommie Hansen actually also gave some more information in terms of parameters that he uses because he did a lot of backtesting. In fact, he said he did tens of thousands of backtests. And then just for the XRP USD trade pair, I think that's his favorite trade pair to trade with just because it shows really profitable backtest results. From the code here, this is basically the TOML file that you want to set it as. This is the optimal, as in based on over the 15,000 runs that he made on the XRP USD on Poloniex on 5-minute candles. And you see that it's kind of odd, like the numbers. He even said that the numbers are kind of strange. These are not the exact numbers you want to use, but this gives you a general idea what the numbers should be based on over 15,000 backtests using genetic algorithm. So the basic idea he pointed out is this. Larger coins are worse. So basically BTC USD and ETH USD is not going to do as well as the XRP trade pair. So even though he said that the ETH trade pair does much better than the BTC trade pair. So the second thing is a shorter long SMA is usually better, but often also has higher risk. So basically, if you want the default, again, the default, as I shown in the chart here, was 1,000. So if you want to have better profits, but take a little bit more risk, you will end up setting the long SMA to around 300 candles instead of 1,000. And then the short SMA is pretty much as close to the price point as possible. Around 10 to 30 is fine. So that's pretty close. Again, the default was 50. The RSI length is 15 plus, usually works better, which is kind of strange, but it seems that you need more data rather than less because, again, the default setting for RSI is 14. The ADX, which I haven't got into, I probably will make another video on ADX RSI Bull Bear, just because I don't really know how ADX works at this point, but I will be making a video about it down the line. And then all this was tested on a 5-minute candle. He again tested over 10,000 tests, and these were the settings to use. So I'll include the link to this particular post over here on my video here on Steemit. And finally, there were other testers that tested, like JBS did here. He ran 1.4 million tests using just changing these 4 settings: the candle size, the SMA, the fast SMA, and the slow SMA, and the ADX. And the optimal parameters that he came out with was about 8 minutes candle size, SMA fast being 95 candles, the slow being 200, and the ADX being 3. Again, it's pretty ridiculous gains, around like 72 million% gains. So that's pretty insane gains. That's why people are going crazy, like, wow, this is an insane strategy, we must have to try it out, to the point where like people just installing the bot have no idea how Gekko trading bot works, and then trying to install it and having problems and not knowing what to do. So I'm going to show you guys how to install it as well. I'm going to talk about installation right now. So first of all, a lot of people like me have already previously installed a strategy using the repo from XFFFF. I would suggest you delete the strategies from that, because I'm not sure if it's the latest. Even if it is the latest, you really want to install it properly, because like just by following this, you might not install correctly. So you want to make sure you follow the instructions from the very first page installation, as Tommy Hansen updated in the first post here, how to actually do it. All you do is clone his repo, like I did here. I cloned this repo and I downloaded the Gekko tools, which ended up having the CLI, the strategy, the sync all. I didn't really look into the sync all attempt. I just really looked at CLI and the strategies. But since I'm still using the UI, I'm not at the point where I'm trusting the command line interface yet. I just went to the strategies folder, and in here you'll find the 3 strategies. You'll find ADX, you'll find the default RSI Bull Bear, and you'll find the Tima strategy. So all you have to do is copy these 3 strategies, the JS files, copy them into the strategies folder in Gekko, and that's it. And then the TOML files you will want to copy again in the config/strategies folder inside Gekko. That's it. That's simple. So that you will install it. Done. But the next step is versions after March 18 also require the custom indicator, which is the Gekko extra indicators. The extra indicators are from Gab0 from his Gekko extra indicators repo, and you can just simply download it as a zip file like I did. It doesn't really make that much difference. I don't think he updates this very often. What he did was he got these extra indicators from the talib library. He just ported them over so that now they work natively in Gekko rather than working via the talib libraries. So once you download it, you'll see a lot of these files, talib, port testers. These are not the actual indicator files. The actual indicator files are in here, inside the indicators file. A lot of people, including one of my installation on my Linux computer, I've noticed that I installed it wrong. What happened was they just unzipped this entire zip file into the indicators folder and inside Gekko. And what happens is you would have 2 indicators folders. You will have one indicators folder and then another one inside Gekko. And I think that's where the problem is, and that's where people were running into trouble with the installation. They were not placing these extra indicators in the correct location. They were placing them one level too deep within their own indicators folder. What you're supposed to do is go inside the indicators folder here, like I did here, and then copy all of them out and place them in the indicators folder inside Gekko strategies indicators. That's it. So you don't want to have 2 levels deep. You want them all these indicators to be one level. The only one you really truly need is the ADX, because from my understanding, that's the one that Tommy Hansen strategy uses. Everything else is just extra cherry on the top. Like if you need Bollinger Bands, that's great. So but otherwise, you don't really need all these other strategy. For this particular case, you really just ADX. You really just need ADX if you plan to use the RSI Bull Bear ADX strategy. So after you do that, after you copy all of them in here, you'll see that you have a lot of these other extra. So now you should see all of them in your Gekko strategy indicators folder. Not one level deep, just one indicators folder, okay? So once you do that, you should be set. It should work properly. Test it, it should work. It worked for me after following all these steps. It works just fine. I just want to show you guys how it worked for me. So I ran it, and I'm just following some of the parameters that Tommy Hansen put up in his previous posts. Again, I only have a very short in terms of backtest duration. I'm only doing for 1 month between April, just for the month of April. And you see that it is earning 78%. So the market did 68%. So this is not explosive, but it beat the market by 10%. So this is still a pretty good set of parameters to use, because I haven't really thoroughly tested and haven't really matched up for this particular trade pair. But at least it still made 78%, which is pretty awesome for 25 days. I'll take it, considering this also beat the market by another 10%. So I think I read through the 25 pages, and Tommy Hansen said that you should be looking for a simulated profit of double the market, which I'll probably be doing more backtests and playing around with different parameters, getting the backtest tool working to play with the parameters more, to see how I can optimize the parameters to at least beat the market by double the amount. So anyway guys, hope this video helps you guys understand the RSI Bull Bear Strategy from Tommy Hansen. Upvote, re-steam, and follow me if you're new to my channel. If it isn't crypto, it isn't worth mining, it isn't worth speculating. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.